This video is sponsored by Card Kingdom. You can visit their store by using my referral link in the description below. Hi everybody, doing a March of the Machine draft video today. Been a while since I did one. Yeah, so Azuri's not particularly good in Limited. You know, you'd kind of think it would be, but it just takes too much effort. The initial thing it adds to the board just isn't that good, and it's hard to get it going. So, I mean, I think we're mostly looking at Bloated Processor, which is just, gives you an amazing rate. Even if you have 0 other Phyrexians in your deck, it's a great card. Kenra Spellspear is pretty good, and Tandem Takedown as well. After that, there's sort of a drop-off, but things like Temporal Cleansing and Nezumi Informant are good too, but we'll take the Processor. Invasion of Dominaria is sort of in the mix too, but I think the Processor's just the best of all of these. Not a great black card here for us to snap up. That always feels good when you can do that, but we don't really get there. This pack in general is not the most impressive. I mean, I think the best card is Tangled Skyline. Goes well with Bloated Processor, I guess, since it, buffs Phyrexians. It ends up giving you what you need to stabilize in longer games against aggro decks. Assimilate Essence is pretty good. Cosmic Hunger, too. I think I like Tangled Skyline the most, though. All right, well, Brutaclad is really, really, really good. We had another one of these earlier that I didn't like, but this one's great. It also works well with the Phyrexian tokens because you can turn them into... the incubator tokens, it is, because you can turn them into 2/1s, which means they're as big. They're 2/1s plus the +1/+1 counters. So we're definitely taking Brutaclad. It's really surprising to me that he's still here at all, frankly, because it's an incredibly powerful card. Easy first pick a lot of the time. It is what we're going to take. We've taken a black and a green card, but splashing's relatively easy in the format, so I'm not too worried about that. Scornblade Berserker is a really great 1-drop. But yeah, Brutaclad is definitely where we want to be. So there's another Tangled Skyline. I do like those, and I do think, for base green, it's going to be easier to splash Brutaclad. Fearless Scald's pretty good. Beyond that, this pack is not a super exciting one. Obviously, if you're the Knight deck, this is quite good. Gloomfang Mauler is not bad, but I'm thinking another Skyline. And we're probably going to be a grindier sort of deck. Probably need to pick up some fixing here and there. Okay, so Joyful Storm Sculptor's good. It would be another card that we would be splashing, potentially, like as a green-blue or a green-red deck. Right now, we don't have the fixing to do it, but I don't think it's going to be that hard for us to get it. Rawl's Reinforcements is pretty good, too. Yeah, I mean, another sort of medium black card is here. I do like Bolas Slinger a lot, but we're not really headed in the direction of like an aggro tempo deck at this point. I think we'll take Storm Sculptor. Okay, so here's a land that will help us some, potentially anyway. Meeting of Minds is a card I like. Host Charger's not bad. I like Tandem Takedown, but because it's got double green in its casting cost, it's a little bit tricky. That said, I do have 2 Tangled Skylines, and maybe it's just good enough I'm supposed to take it. Like, these make me want to be in green pretty badly, even though I could also splash it, potentially. So it's mostly between the land and the takedown. Fertilid's Favor is fixing, but it's not, I'll play it if I have to, but it's not the fixing I really want. I just want dual lands and the Skittering Surveyor, ideally. Yeah, I mean, takedown's good enough. I'm going to take it there. And that land doesn't help us that much. Like, I'm probably not going to be splashing Bloated Processor unless I end up... What I mean is I think I probably need to end up in a base black deck if that's what I'm doing. Which could happen, but then I don't really need, to worry about it. Wrath is good. Definitely the best card in this pack. Another Bolas Slinger. It's pretty good. Might just take Order of the Mirror. It's a fine 2-drop. This is not good removal. People play it too much. Don't play it. You can play it if you desperately, desperately need to, but... These removal spells that don't actually fully remove a creature are just bad. I mean, you end up losing value because you're, especially in a format with +1/+1 counters and stuff, because you don't get rid of a whole card. You know what I mean? So it's less than a 1-for-1, which is Pretty brutal. Lithomantic Barrage isn't terrible in your main deck. It's also not great. Sanctifier is a nice 2-drop, but white is one of the few colors we haven't really dipped our toes into. I don't like Oculus Whelp that much. I think we're looking at Barrage or Hanger Scrounger here. I'm leaning towards Hanger Scrounger, I think. Yeah. So Invasion of Dominaria is still here, interestingly. Scoured Barrens isn't really a land that helps us, unfortunately, at least not right now. I don't hate Tidal Terror. It might just be what I take. I like Meeting of Minds more, and I do have Joyful Storm Sculptor. Yeah, let's take our first Meeting of Minds, actually. Okay, so I like Halo Charge Scob enough. I mean, you know, it's not amazing, but it's certainly playable. Does seem like white was pretty open, which is kind of a bummer given, you know, that we took a look at so many different colors. Invasion of Regatha and Etched Host Doombringer. I mean, the Doombringer is definitely better, but black just doesn't seem like where I'm headed. So I'm going to go ahead and take the battle. Seed of Hope's fine. So is Atrax's Fall. I feel like these are the 3 colors we're going to be in, but right now we're not doing a great job on fixing, so we're going to need to do something about that. And of course, we open up a Boonbringer Valkyrie. I mean, it's not completely out of the question to take it here, but let's see what else we have. I mean, I think there's enough other good stuff in this pack that I should probably not take it. I mean, it's the best card in the pack, but... And if I had even, like, one decent white card, I'd probably take it, but I don't. So, we're looking at things like Cyba Cryptomancer, Temporal Cleansing, and Wingspan, all of which are things that I like. I think I like the Cryptomancer a little more than Wingspan or Cleansing. It's close, though. I mean, this is nice removal, but... We also aren't doing a whole lot in the early game right now, so I should probably do something about that. Into the Fire's okay. I don't hate Invasion of Lorwyn, but in this world where I have basically no fixing, I don't think I'm going to go there. Does sort of feel like blue-red might be our base, in which case the Skylines are probably what are going to get splashed. You know, mostly because we have these 2 really powerful blue-red cards. I mean, Into the Fire's okay. It is situational and awkward, but it's not like this pack has great options in it for us. I mean, Invasion of Lorwyn is better. Phyrexian Censor is better, but we're not really in that direction. I don't hate Portent Tracker, but if we're not base green, we're not playing it. So I'm going to take Into the Fire. Another Tangled Skyline. You know, you don't want too many of them. Again, we've been seeing lands, but they've never been the ones that actually help us, which is a bummer. But I do like Astral Wingspan, so we'll take it here. This land does actually help us, so we've got that going for us. Do I want to take Temporal Cleansing more? Because there's a world where I just don't play these Skylines, and I don't think that's crazy at this point. I mean, I like them a lot, but it feels like blue-red is kind of calling to us, and Temporal Cleansing is great. So, yeah, I mean, I think at this point we're probably... Let's move these over here for now. Of course, I say that and now. This pack doesn't have anything great for us. I don't hate the Beat Stick, but it's definitely better in, like, a black-red deck. Yeah, I mean, this pack is not very good for us overall. The Javelineer is okay. I think Escort's the best, so I guess I could consider taking it. It's not a terrible thing to splash. I could consider taking it and seeing if green's open enough, or if we get, rather, fixing for green. I mean, it's definitely an idea. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. We'll see if if anything happens there. All right, so I do like Agar. We... Right now, aren't that good at damaging things, although if we cast Into the Fire with our opponent having a bunch of X1s in play, that's pretty hilarious. But, you know, you usually end up with enough spells that do damage that this ends up working out okay. Gives us another blue-red card. So Shadow the Source is a fine card anyway, but when you have Agar, it does get better, because it often is doing more damage. Great Sword's not bad. Meeting of Minds isn't either, but yeah, we'll take Shatter, which gives us something that works with Agar and Storm Sculptor. So I like that. Couple of good white cards here. Probably going to take a Barrage. We're low enough on removal at this point that I think having one in our deck is probably a good idea. But yeah, the awkward thing about Into the Fire is sometimes you don't want to damage your own stuff, but at least it has an alternate mode. It's a pretty late Temporal Cleansing that I'm happy to take. At least it has an alternate mode, even if that mode is also kind of awkward. We definitely need more early drops, but I'm liking the look of our mid to late game. You know, we definitely need more stuff down here, but all the stuff over here, pretty happy with. I mean, I'm probably not going to play Furnace Host Charger in the end, although it is a giant, so it is a little better in a world where you have Agar. So probably Furtive Analyst. I mean, neither of these are that good, but I'm more interested in low drops at this point. So I'll take a 3-drop, I think. Get another one here. Yeah, I mean, that's what we're going to take. Okay, so this Rugged Highlands came back. I am going to take it now, because on the off chance we open, like, you know, more fixing, we get more stuff. I mean, there's something to be said for taking Invasion of Xerex, because it is really strong, but we'll take the Highlands. I mean, I guess splashing Xerex is maybe going to be easier, depending on how this last pack goes, than, like, trying to splash 2 Tangled Skylands. So maybe it was better to just take the Invasion, because it is a really, really good battle. So yeah, the thing we need the most is more good low drops, and some more removal would be good too. So that's what we're keeping an eye open for here. Okay, well, now I really wish I'd taken Invasion of Xerex, because now we have Invasion of New Phyrexia, which we definitely splash. It's really, really strong. And we're not really giving up a ton. I mean, Assimilate Essence would be nice. You know, I wouldn't hate having it. But we're not going to, because we're going to take Invasion of New Phyrexia. Now, the thing we need to do, unfortunately, I mean, there's a chance we end up not playing it, but I need to pick up like a Skittering Surveyor, at least a dual land, and then I'll feel good about it. But either way, it's really strong. We're going to take it. So, it's another thing that does stuff with tokens, which, you know, goes well with Brutaclad. But yeah, we need sources of white. And yeah, we don't really have any of those. So see what happens. Oh my god. Okay. So they've got back-to-back invasions of New Phyrexia. What am I even supposed to do? The responsible thing to do here is probably take like Rawl's Reinforcements or... Well, I think that is the responsible thing to do, especially with the Convoke we have and stuff. And we need low drops. But man... Pretty hard to say no to a second Invasion of New Phyrexia, even without any fixing. At this point, I'm going to be taking like Fleet Wheel Racers and stuff, even though they're pretty mediocre, just because the Invasion is that good. So, if only I picked up some white fixing earlier. So, nothing here that is fixing per se. Scry 3 does help one fix to some extent. And Inga's fine, so it's probably what I end up taking here. Don't hate the Dread Ship, but yeah, I think we'll take Inga. Come on, Skittering Surveyor. Where are you? We do have Urn of Godfire, and I don't like the card very much, but it is fixing. I mean, it's clunky as heck because you have to tap 2 mana. And that part's not so good. Could take a Tidal Terror. I mean, it makes it so we can run fewer sources of blue, but that doesn't help us that much. We'd rather have Furnace Host Charger to have fewer sources of red so we can run more white sources for our invasions of New Phyrexia. All right, we'll take Tidal Terror, though. Another Urn of Godfire. Still no good fixing. I think I'm going to take an Urn of Godfire here. Sad as that is. Another Agar. Moment of Truth isn't really fixing, but it does help us find our lands. And at this point, it's going to be pretty hard for me not to want to run Invasions of New Phyrexia. So I think I'd take it over Agar number 2. As much as Agar is good, if we're not going to pick up fixing, we need to find ways to find our white mana, because we're going to have to run like 2 planes at this point. Which is not going to be great for our mana base, but how am I supposed to not run 2 invasions of New Phyrexia. So this fixes, but unfortunately it's in green. We have another Wingspan, Eyes of Gitaxias. I do need 2 drops pretty badly still. So I may take Expedition Lookout. I do think Wingspan and Eyes of Gitaxias are better, but I'm going to need to like do things in the early game, and the Lookout does that for me by trading or blocking or whatever. It is pretty sad. Like I passed a bunch of lands that produced white early because I was like, these aren't helping us do what I want to do. But now I wish I'd speculated on them more. We do have a Swiftwater Cliffs here, which makes life a little easier, even if it doesn't, isn't right on. It's not a land that produces white, but it does give us 1 land that produces blue and red, which is helpful. Searing Barb's okay. Ichor Drinker's really good. Yeah, so I did get Rawl's Reinforcements back, so at least there's that. We'll take the Dread Ship now. Take another Dread Ship. Yeah, this invasion has been so disappointing, but we'll take it. Don't think I want Ren's Resolve, but yeah, we ended up not getting any real fixing, which is a little brutal. But like I said, maybe, instead of taking, I can't remember what picks I chose in the end, but I took some medium cards over like lands that would have helped us in the end if I'd picked them up. Couldn't see the future, but this format has enough cards like this that, speculating on them is a good idea. So I do think we run 2 planes, 13, 14, 16, and so that gives us 8 blue and 7 red. I think that's about right. I could go 8, 8. Yeah, that works. Got to trim some things, of course. And that's not too hard, I don't think. Furtive Analyst isn't great. It does give us a way to dig deeper in our deck and find these 2 planes. So I'm probably not going to cut both of them. Do I want Halo Charge Scob in this deck? It can get me back Invasion of New Phyrexia when I mill it, but it can't get back lands. We're not doing anything like really sweet with it in general. I mean, getting spells back is fine, but we're not doing anything that amazing. So I think I'd probably cut it from this deck. It's better in blue-black for sure, where you can get more value out of its ability. Do I run the Urn? I mean, God. It's so not good, but it does give us a source of white. But it's so awkward when it's an X spell that I don't think we run it in the end. It's bad enough. I don't want to do it. And yeah, we got some nice card draw. We've got some powerful top curve. Do I want to run Tidal Terror and Furnace Host Charger? I could potentially just cut both of them. Neither of them helps us get white after all, and they're not amazing, and it's not like we don't have pretty good late game plays with Wingspan and Brutaclad. Probably going to leave one of them in, though, and if I'm going to leave one in, it's probably Tidal Terror, just because it's a better finisher, generally speaking, and then cut like a Dread Ship. Yeah. I think that works. Deck's got some problems, but the average power level of the cards in it is really high. The main problem is our mana, so we'll see how it goes. 1 Skittering Surveyor would have made me feel a lot better. Just 1. Okay, looks like a pretty good hand. We can get our shields up a bit early. Could wipe the board if we have to from some small stuff, and yeah. Does mean maybe I want to play Expedition Lookout first, since the order, at least until it transforms, dies into the fire. Yeah, there's an Ichor Drinker. Yeah, I think that makes the Lookout the better play for sure. Ichor Drinker, I mean, Into the Fire doesn't feel great against it because it just gives you, you know, that body out of the graveyard. It's been such a good comment. I mean, basically it's not quite true, but almost every 1-drop we see these days, if it has a bunch of lines of text on it, turns out it's pretty good and limited. There's some exceptions, but that's how it's been for a while now. Used to be that 1-drops were pretty bad and limited because most of them didn't do anything that was relevant after very early in the game. But that has changed over the last 5 or so years. Yeah. So, Into the Fire isn't looking terrible here. I can wipe away both of these. They do get this body, but then they don't have lifelink. They don't get to draw off of Scornblade Berserker. It seems fine. I mean, it's definitely not great, but you can't really expect it to always be great. So, yeah. I could wait one more turn, see if they play something else that I can sweep away, but I think just sort of clearing out their board and trying to get to Brutaclad, cranking out those 2/1s and everything is probably where I want to be. So let's just do this. Yeah, wouldn't have been able to kill that, and then they would have had a bunch of nice fodder for it, so I think that works out okay in the end. Furtive Analyst. Not doing much to pressure them, but they're not doing much to pressure us either. Yeah. Oh, Omen Hawkers. Surprisingly good. Play Order of the Mirror and transform it seems reasonable. They don't really have the mana to punish me for it. Yeah, so let's do that. Then next turn we can play Brutaclad, and if it survives, I mean, we crank out a 2/1 every turn, which feels pretty good. So yeah, Omen Hawker can pay for this ability, basically, which is that they get incubators, which isn't, you know, crazy good or anything, but ooh, that is. Luckily, they can't attack it right away or anything. Okay, so time to get Brutaclad down and hope it survives and just make a 2/1 every turn. I mean, it snowballs pretty quickly in Limited. Gets better if we have some incubators around, but even without them, you know, making a 2/1 for free every turn tends to be pretty good. We will not be attacking. I guess I could attack with Order the Alabaster Host. It wouldn't be a bad attack. Not a great one either, especially because they could just block and, you know. But yeah, that's a pretty good Omen Hawker plus completed Huntmaster is a nice little combination. Brutaclad might be dead. It is nice that the fail case is still that you have a 2/1 sitting on the table, but, you know. If they kill Brutaclad here, given what we have going on in our hand and what they probably have going on in their hand, I'm not loving our chances. If Brutaclad sticks around, I do love our chances, but Brutaclad does die to many things. Not to an Ichor Drinker, though. Unless they're about to sack it and then kill Brutaclad, which I think is what they're going to do. Yeah, they're gonna do something, clearly. Maybe it's just make another incubator or something. I could live with that. I can live with that too, honestly. We don't redraw it right away, but, you know, we're in okay shape. They don't have good attacks still, so Wonder what is on top of our Brutaclad here. Another land. Well, I can discard it, but I know what I'm drawing, and I know I can't play Brutaclad right away, right? 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I'm 1 mana short. So we will pass. This turn, they may have a pretty good attack on Invasion of Segovia, unfortunately. And they can just keep upgrading their creatures into incubators, basically, almost for free at this point. Luckily, having a 1/4 lines up reasonably well here. I hope they bricked on their draw, though. That's kind of what I'm going to need, is a brick here. It's an interesting attack. Okay. Well, they're all attacking me, huh? Do I even block if they're all attacking me? I mean, I think so. They have 1 card in their hand. There's a decent chance they have a trick or something, but making them use it doesn't seem like a bad thing. I think I'm gonna double up a block there. Block here and block there. See what happens. Doesn't feel like there's that much they can do here that just utterly blows me out. I mean, yeah, they can sack something so that it ends up not mattering. But it doesn't really wreck me or anything. I mean, they do get 2 incubators out of the deal in the end, which is annoying. Okay. We did kill 1 permanently, though. So there's that. Brutaclad will be coming back now. I might transform their order here, I guess. Omenhawker and a land will do it. We haven't really done much damage to each other yet. It's kind of a funny game. Just sort of... Okay, so we're going to do this. What a surprise. Draw Brutaclad. Ooh, that's a good draw, because I can still cast it, yeah. So, go Brutaclad. Pass the turn. I mean, no, it really doesn't seem worth an attack here. I could attack with Order, the Order of Alabaster Host, but it is holding back a bunch of creatures. Having just 1 4/4 as a decent blocker doesn't seem great to me. And we'll be able to cast Meeting of Minds at the end of their turn for free, basically. I could have cast it here, but that doesn't really seem like a wise choice, I don't think. I guess their Order of Alabaster Host is their most problematic attacker, now that I think about it. Because I can't really block it effectively, like at all. So... everyone's going for me. Okay, well. I can't double block it with tokens because they'll both get -1, -1. Yeah, I will block like this. Take 3. Is there any reason I should cast Meeting of Minds now? No. No, there is not. Alright, so now we'll do it. Nice. Another decently sized creature. So let's play Inga first, although maybe I want a Moment of Truth first. Yeah, that makes sense. And then I can set up my next few draws a little more effectively. Searing Barb. Is there anything I desperately want to kill with Searing Barb? I mean, not really. A big creature seems pretty good, though. And I probably one of them into your hand. Yeah, let's take Tidal Terror. Searing Barb doesn't do much here. So this goes in our hand. We'll put the island into her graveyard and Searing Barb on the bottom. Yeah. Then we go to combat. Make our 2/1 for the turn. And play Tidal Terror, who is the biggest thing on the board, so that's nice. Also goes pretty well with the token nonsense because I can make it unblockable and stuff, although right now it doesn't seem that great. Basically, we're sort of waiting for our white mana and one of our invasions, which we don't have either of yet. Inga Rune Eyes might help us with that. I wonder if they have Render Inert for Invasion of Segovia. That would be annoying, but not really the end of the world either. It's not the scariest creature. I mean, the scariest thing about it is just that it gives you such good... Wow, they just decided they'd had enough. They were at 21 and I was at 16, and that was enough for them. I mean, it was a really long game where it was going to probably take a good 10 or 15 more minutes before one of us won. Although, if they couldn't do anything about Brutaclad, it might have been less. This is like the hand you definitely didn't want. I didn't want when I drafted this deck with my 2 Invasions of New Phyrexia. Unfortunately, I think we have to mulligan. I mean, we do have a 3-drop and a card draw spell, but we're not doing anything early, and having both of these in our hand with no white mana is miserable. So we will mulligan. And this looks significantly better. Feels like Wingspan probably goes back. It's just a very awkward hand for Wingspan because I'm not playing anything for forever. So, yeah. Brutaclad is back, though. Hopefully they play a bunch of cheap stuff we can sweep away. That's annoying. I'm probably going to discard Barrage. It's not going to be great here. I mean, I could use it to kill the Informant, but it's not like, you know... At that point, the Informant has already done the thing that it does. So we'll get rid of the Barrage. Yeah, that's not great news. We can attack it for 1 right away. We continue to not play anything, and I don't think... One of the bad things about this is it does 2 damage to each battle. So we don't really want to cast it anytime soon. Awkwardly enough. I mean, I can cast it for its other effect, but I don't really want to. Yeah, this hand, you know, that first game kind of went our way, even though it was a slog. And this one is sort of... We had to mulligan to 6 because our mana's bad, and then we didn't get any early drops. Okay. Well, that is interesting. Oh, all right. That makes things easier. I was considering killing Aetherblade Agent with Into the Fire or something, but now I'd probably just cast Searing Barb on it and pass. I could play Inga Rune Eyes, but it seems better to just get rid of this before it becomes a problem. But they are about to transform this, which is awful. I can bounce it before it does anything too crazy, but then they get the Rummage effect again. I don't like that. Okay, they didn't play anything. I do like that, I think. So let's play Inga here. Shatter the Source, another land. I think Shatter seems like a good plan, and so does 1 more land, because I can play Brutaclad. Question is which I want to draw first, because just killing this with Shatter is going to be better than bouncing it with Temporal Cleansing. So I think maybe I want to draw Shatter first. Because this quickly starts making bodies, and can even keep up with Brutaclad is how crazy it is. So yeah, I think we keep Shatter. We can cast it because of Convoke. So, though we have to do it at an awkward time, I guess. Maybe it is just better to go with Cleansing for now, and then hope they can't transform it. Yeah, we'll put the land on top. That was hard. It's a hard scry. Yeah. They have a good opponent for Lithomantic Barrage, that's for sure. So this transforms. They get a scary creature. Let's just hope they don't play a second scary creature. No, they kind of do. However, interesting. Do I just want to cast Into the Fire here and live with Chiron Flameright, making my life difficult for a turn? And then bounce it? Because if I don't do that, this is going to transform, make another body. They're going to... So yeah, I mean, I think we want to cast Into the Fire here. Yeah. At least gets rid of these two. And if they want to do the Flameright thing, they at least have to use some resources. And I can at least spend some mana to make a 1/1 here, which admittedly isn't great, but... Or they just attack me for 3, which I think is like the best possible outcome. Yeah, that's annoying, but I can live with it. So, do I just tap out here and kill Chiron Flameright or Shatter the Source? Or do I play Brutaclad and start trying to overcome the situation? That will make this into a 3/2. And obviously that's good. One more body and we'd be able to cast Temporal Cleansing too. So I think we play Brutaclad. Especially because it's going to deliver better value than normal, even if they kill it right away. Because that will stay a 3/2 permanently. And then we'll have the 2/1. So yeah, I can live with it. You always want to make sure you don't select the Incubator because there's 0/0s. So keep that in mind. That's why I was sort of slow there to reread what Brutaclad does. And it's permanent, you know, which is, you know, kind of unusual, but that is how it works. They have 5 cards in their hand and they're playing black-red, so the chances that they have something here that can kill us, or kill Brutaclad rather, is pretty good. It's a pretty good chance. I haven't seen a single Plains yet. Did I cut them all out of the deck or something? Yeah. That is not awesome. Trying to decide if I want to risk a block here. There are lots of tricks that are really bad. I mean, I'm definitely blocking something. Like, I'm at least going to block with the token on that, on the 2/1. I think that's what I'll do and take 7. It's not awesome, but I think we need to hold on to Brutaclad if we're going to have a chance here. Okay, they are tapped out. That part's good. Trying to decide if I want a Temporal Cleansing on the Flameright. I mean, I hate that they get the battle again. That part is not good. But you know, the Flameright won't be around, and that part is good. And I'll still have mana up for Meeting of the Minds. And hopefully that can draw me into something that's helpful. I mean, I could go with Shatter instead, Shatter the Source, but that doesn't seem great to me. Just because I won't be able to do anything else. So yeah, I think we're going to go ahead, hit Chiron Flameright with Temporal Cleansing here. Guess we'll go to combat first. I'd rather tap my mana in a way that makes them think I can do more things. So yeah, cast Temporal Cleansing, hit the Flame Right, leave up Meeting of Minds mana. Temporal Cleansing usually feels so good, but when you have to bounce a battle creature like that, it doesn't. It doesn't feel good. Yeah, Stormclaw Rager's a problem too. You know, start drawing cards, sacking things. I'm sure they have many expendable bodies in their black-red deck. We've already seen many of them, actually, so we know they have them. All right, let's see what they do here. I mean, I think I just take 4. I don't love that. All right, so it's Meeting of Minds. Do they have removal in response now that I'm tapped out? I think they do. Yeah. Well, you're going to need something else, and then you have it, I guess. Yeah. Yep. I mean, we're not done yet. We need to draw something good here. Of course, we draw 2 lands and a Lookout. Not exactly what I was looking for, but could be worse. I can leave up Shatter the Source here. Like if they try to transform Ayara. Although they don't even need to transform Ayara. God, I think we're just dead because... Yeah, the only way we would win is if they decided to transform Ayara for some reason and I killed it in response. Because if I cast it now, I have 2 blockers. I mean, I guess I'm not entirely dead, but... I guess that's our best bet, though. We need to keep that thing from being able to sack anything, even. Because they can just... Yeah. Because we're at 6, so it's not very hard for them to kill us with the sack effect alone. So yeah, we'll kill Ayara. Tap our weakest token. They're going to play their battle again. Yeah, we've never really felt like we were in it in this game. Oh, it's unblockable. Forgot that's even a thing. I mean, I didn't really, but I wasn't expecting for that to happen a whole lot in this deck. I mean, it does look like we're going to buy ourselves another turn. Both attack me, huh? Well, I think we double block. Yeah, let's block Stormclaw Rager and see what happens. Dies, I like that. Don't like that, though. Pooh. Yeah, we did not draw very well. These things happen. The only way... I mean, I have to block both attackers here, so that's brutal, especially because this leaves behind a body. Yep, and that does it. Yes, sort of felt like we were fumbling around that whole game without actually accomplishing anything. Never a great feeling. One of the annoying things is we never saw our white mana, so even if we like drew our really good battle like it would have been bad to draw. Not great hand, but it is acceptable, especially because we're going first. You know, we're not adding anything to the board for a while, but eventually we get to Temporal Cleansing. You know, the Dreadship's not terrible at giving us a couple bodies. And you know, just not an optimal hand in terms of no early drops or interaction or anything. I think our opponent mulliganed at least twice, so maybe that'll make it less of a problem. All right. Do they have a 2-drop? They do. Okay, I think we play Dreadship here. Obviously, that means we take a hit from Timoret, but I think we can take it. Do like Oracle of Tragedy. I always like, you know, it's nothing special, but the 2 triggers you get out of it tend to feel pretty good. Okay. Lots of options here since a bunch of our hand is instant speed. I don't think I bother with Temporal Cleansing here, although they are stuck on 2 lands, and it would make sure they redraw something that isn't a land. That's a thing. You know, that's not bad. Just bounce Timoret. They can put it on the bottom. You know, that might be what they do. But the other option involves turning this into a 2/2 and blocking, and maybe using Cyber Cryptomancer. Yeah, I don't think we bother with cleansing yet. I think we'll just pass. Operate at instant speed here. They drew their land anyway, so... See if they attack here. If they do, I think the Cryptomancer plan is a reasonable one. Yeah, they don't. I do think... Well, I guess we'll Moment of Truth first. But I'm sure we're going to turn this into a 2/2. There's our friend Brutaclad. We're pretty far from being able to cast it, but it's probably what I'm supposed to take here. We'll put the Analyst in the graveyard and Agar on the bottom. Okay. I think cleansing on Huntmaster seems pretty good here. Yeah. We could use some more mana. We didn't have an option of mana when in cast Moment of Truth. They did. They put it on the bottom. Okay. Good to know. I would probably trade the Dreadship before I would trade the 2/2 at this point, though we'll see. Yeah, that does shuffle their deck. That's going to give them a fairly large token in the near future. Okay, so I think we end our turn. Lots of options available. I don't really want to cycle. I guess depending on what happens, I could Island Cycle this so that I can Brutaclad for sure next turn. That might not be a bad idea. This is another game where it does feel a little like we're fumbling around, but luckily our opponent hasn't thrown any really big haymakers, so I'm not too concerned about that. So I could Shatter the Source something, of course. But yeah, I think we go ahead and cycle this. Make sure we get the land we need for Brutaclad. Could consider playing the Cryptomancer just to make something bigger, but it's not really worth it. It would be nice to wait to play Brutaclad until I can leave mana up, of course, but that's, you know, that's asking a lot. I would love a world where I could do it, but I think just playing Brutaclad here is pretty good. And if we get to untap with Brutaclad in play, we can then protect it pretty effectively. So, yeah. We will play Brutaclad. We want to make sure to get our token, so we want to play it first main phase. And we want to make... Uh-oh. I've only got 1 black mana. Ah, yes, okay. Well, that's annoying. Do I want to crew my dread ship so I can attack them? Doesn't really seem worth it. But it also doesn't hurt. I don't necessarily have to attack them, so... That is unfortunate. Doesn't seem worth the attack since I can threaten to trade for things when they attack me. So... Bummer, though. Yeah, that Timuret's up to a 2/5 now, so it can finally attack. Obviously, it's going to exile Brutaclad, although I don't think our deck can do anything with the graveyard anyway, so it's not exactly devastating. Cryptomancer plus Wingspan is not bad here. I mean, I would tap out to do it, basically. But then I'd have a 2/3 with Hexproof, or 3/4. 3/4? 3/4 with Hexproof and flying. And I'd draw a card. Seems pretty good. They're tapped out. I mean, I could try to kill something, but they still don't really have anything I'm that worried about. The one bummer, potentially, I guess, is Aetherblade Agent, but I can just crew my Marauding Dreadship and block it. So, not that worried about it. See, I think we'll go ahead and play Cryptomancer and then slap Wingspan on it. And we'll pass the turn. Gives us what is surprisingly the largest creature on the battlefield. So that's nice. And also they can't target it with anything. So, yep, I mean, I will probably trade my Dreadship here for this. Yeah, I definitely will. I don't want to trade Cyber Cryptomancer. I could have thought about leaving the mana up so I could react, but I think not adding to the board at all wouldn't have been great. We do get to surveil 1 off of the death of this creature, but that's okay. Well, they got something interesting, and they left it on top. Hey, look, a plains. The only time we've seen that invasion, although it's been a good thing because we haven't had our plains, but we had that awkward opening hand. It was the only time we saw it. Do I want to attack? I don't think so. We're not really in a great position to do so. Do I want to shatter the source something? I mean, if it's anything, it's probably completed Huntmaster because of its ability to gradually cause us problems, like continue to buff up their board. I could use Shatter on it, or I could wait to cast Temporal Cleansing. I don't think I'm going to do either right now. Oh, hey, Lithomantic Barrage. So I can use that to kill Oracle of Tragedy. That's something. I'll go ahead and do that. They will sacrifice it. They're going to shuffle cards in. Yeah, makes sense. Feels like attacking here. No, still not a good plan. I mean, they have 2 3/3s that I just can't block if I attack with my Cryptomancer. I'm still not worried enough about anything to cast these removal spells either, though. It's an awkward spot. I don't know why they haven't exiled our graveyard yet, incidentally, but you know. And if I leave mana up, I don't even have to worry about tricks really. So yeah, so I can block here, and if they try to use a trick, I guess it's sort of a free attack at this point, huh? Maybe I should kill that Huntmaster. Because they just can, cycle through. Yeah. At least temporal cleansing it. Yeah, I'd like to hold on to Shatter for some big scary creature of some kind. So let's go ahead and use temporal cleansing. All right, we get negated. Yeah, I'm just going to kill it with Shadow the Source now. Because they can't really keep attacking us if they don't have this way to keep generating value. The only thing to be said is that maybe I could have waited so they don't get a Surveil trigger here until after they draw, but they already knew what was on top of their library anyway. I have not done a very good job of drawing threats. I guess we had Brutaclad and Tidal Terror, and neither of those things ended up working out, basically. Someday, hey, look, they exiled them. Someday, I'll be able to attack with the Cryptomancer, but so far, it's just been... Ooh, yeah, that's bad. That is very bad. Do I double block? God. I don't think so. I think we just cross our fingers that we can draw our invasion before we die. Scry 3 should help with that. There it is. Beautiful. That should help us stabilize, even if I have to block ugly here. I can also make sure I draw a bunch of cards here, most likely, which is nice. We've got 2 menace creatures. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to make 8 2/2s. That's pretty good. Isn't that pretty good? Okay, well, I'm going to try to do this. If all 3 die, I get to draw 3 cards, so... Works for me. Oh, they made sure not to kill. Clever. I don't know. Well, it's probably worth it, but it ends up being upside, basically, on Inga. It's not as good as drawing 3, but they let me keep my 2/2. Look, we're actually going to get to attack. Unless they have negate in their hand. I'm going to attack first. Can't be worried about negate all the time. Come on. I mean, I guess I could have waited. You know? I could have threatened to attack it, I guess. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Think they have negate, number 2. Oh my god. We finally drew it, and I think they might have negate. Are they saying nice because they're angry about my invasion, or nice because they're going to counter it and destroy us? Okay, looks like because they're angry we drew it. We have another one somewhere in our deck, so... you know... we might draw it. Angrily exiling our graveyard. Yeah, so I could have attacked it and threatened to got a plane, attack it and get a planeswalker this turn, which is probably how I should have done it in retrospect. All right. You know, at this point, it's probably actually better to block with that. So we've got 2 lands on the bottom. Good to know. Let me draw one. Yeah, I think I should attack this at this point. The emblem's pretty good, so, and they're still at 20, so yeah, I think attacking the invasion makes sense. Would have been better if I did it last turn too, but let's just draw our second one. Then the emblem's really absurd if I draw the second one. Don't reanimate something. So they put negate on top. That's interesting. Okay. Well, let's attack the invasion. I could use the ability to draw into the second invasion, I guess. Draw 2 cards. Then discard 2 cards unless you discard a creature card. Yeah, we don't have a great hand for that. I should probably just get the emblem. Let's cast Meeting of Minds first. Are they going to kill? Yeah, they are. It's not the biggest problem. I mean, would I prefer it wasn't dead? Sure, but, you know. Hey, that's pretty good. More bodies. Yeah. Well. And if I hadn't done something first, I could have at least used a loyalty ability first. And I knew they had pile on, so maybe that's what I was supposed to do. But, you know. And then I would have 3/2 knights here. Okay. How good is Storm Sculptor's ability really going to be? I mean, it's not going to be that good at this point, so I think blocking like that and like this is the way to do it. They haven't actually messed up any of our blocks yet, but I was going to say, I think they're finally going to do it. So we know they have... Do we know they have negate in their hand? Shouldn't it be showing us negate if they have negate in their hand? Interesting. Well, they may very well have negate in their hand. Alright, so let's play Hanger Scrounger here. I think I'm going to put the counter on the Cryptomancer. They must have that negate in their hand. I just don't know why it's not showing it to me. So this gives us a 4-turn clock. That also draws us deeper into our deck, which is nice. Well, only does it once. But that's enough. Then we play Lookout, who actually increases the clock a little bit. They do have the ability to gain some life with Timoret, which makes that more challenging. They may be trying to outlast us, which they can do because we've drawn a bunch of cards. They didn't surveil negate into the graveyard, so it's definitely in their hand. I just don't know why it's not showing me that. I I mean, at some point, it's not going to be that hard for me to just swing for a ton of damage is the thing. Like, I have them, you know, just from attacking them with Cryptomancer, I can do a bunch, but eventually I'll just be able to swing with everything, so. They're holding on to negate, which is nice, I guess, for them, but I can attack for 6 that they can't block every turn. They could exile enough of their graveyard to block my Lookout, I just realized. That sucks. Should have thought about that. It's probably not, you know, game-breaking or anything, but it's not good. Maybe they'll cast Negate on this, so that if we draw our other battle... interesting. They can't know we have 2 of them, is the thing. So, it's interesting that they wouldn't just cast Negate when they can actually cast it. Uh-oh. That is a problem. Puts us on a 2-turn clock. And we draw a land. I think that means I'm going to need to attack with Hanger Scrounger here just to dig a little deeper in our deck. Nice. That should probably allow us to get there. They're not going to be able to just tap all their things to attack us here anymore. Unless they still have Negate in their hand. And they might. But, you know, I think they must, but I just got to cast this. Try to cast it anyway. Kind of a bummer I didn't draw some other spell they would counter first, but, you know. They're going to fire this Negate off now, yeah. Wop wop. So, I think we're going to die, despite, you know, casting such a powerful card. I don't know how... I don't think I have much in the way of removal left. I've used up both of my invasions. Just imagine if I'd actually used that freaking emblem. I played this game pretty poorly, obviously. So they're going to hit me for 5 unblockable here. Yeah, that doesn't solve our problems. What a bummer. If I'd played this game just a little bit better, I think we would have been able to win this thing. For one thing, these knights would all be 3/2s. So, you know. I'd have another 2/3 attacking. So, yeah. Alright, let's see if we can salvage this draft. I think this hand looks okay. I mean, no white mana, but a couple of removal spells works for me. Maybe they're playing a deck that the Barrage is really good against. They haven't indicated they are so far. Okay. Not really worth casting any of these. I don't think. So I'm just going to pass. It seems like an okay Searing Barb target. Hopefully they don't mill anything they can get. Unfortunately, they have Judith Scourge Diva. Yeah, that's not great. So they're going to play her, and then blocking these will now mean they're going to be 2/1s, and then they can ping something. Yeah, that's very bad for us. I would attack if I were them, because I don't have any good blocks. Glad they didn't, though. But yeah, not looking great either way. I can't believe they milled Judith, of all things. There's also, like, a reasonable chance, excuse me, that something was going to go away that, you know, they couldn't, there's a chance that that was going to trigger and they wouldn't get anything out of it. It just didn't happen that way. That's what I was hoping for, but, you know. Instead, they hit what's probably the best card in their deck. Probably. Okay, well, they do have Grimgrin. Luckily, I can kill him with Lithomantic Barrage. So I don't feel terrible about that. Oh, I guess... Yeah, that was dumb. They can just sack a creature. They didn't, though. Wait. I wonder why. Because they definitely could have. They could have sacked a creature. Grimgrin wouldn't have died. Works for me. They do have... They're playing black, so I think I'm going to hold on to an island to protect us from the Nezumi discard rat thing. Also... We can throw it, you know, throw it away with Furtive Analyst, so. Yeah, this is bound to happen at some point. Yeah, we're just going to take 2. I need an answer for Judith. Hey, look at that. The exact card I was afraid of. Luckily, that's not a second one. All right, all right. Drawn pretty well. Brutaclad would be good. Tidal Terror is not bad. Do I also want it? I mean, it gives us a huge creature. I definitely want Brutaclad. I can turn these into 2/1s. Don't want the island. It's just a question of whether I want Brutaclad and Tidal Terror. I don't think so. I mean, we'd like to find white mana. Yeah. Okay. It wouldn't be that hard to set things up here so that I get Inga to trigger. I will go pretty far behind on board if I do it. But I actually think we have some reasonable blocks here. You know, it's going to ruin our Brutaclad plan when we... Because I'm going to have these 2 die, but if I just make sure that these 1/1s trade there, then it's a question of, do I block with Inga? I mean, thinning out their board does not seem like a bad plan. I can actually block with the Analyst, but the thing I'm worried about is that I'll set up blocks, they'll kill Inga before the other things die, and then I don't draw any cards. Like, that's a pretty likely outcome. So, but I think we're okay with that. I think we'll block like this. They will be able to kill my Furtive Analyst if they really want to, but... There's a decent chance there's a trick involved, too, based on this attack, but it's not a terrible attack either way because of Judith. And yeah, if I can clear out like 3 creatures here. Yeah, Battle Fan. Yeah, what are they going to put that on? A token? Okay. That doesn't alarm me too much. Going after me. Oh yeah, the tokens don't actually do damage. Probably should have blocked earlier. I mean, it's not a huge deal. Are they going to move their Battle Fan? That would be cool. That means their token's going to die. Because it's no longer going to be indestructible. Wait. Or I'm wrong. Well, it's indestructible, but its toughness is 0 from... Oh, no, never mind. That's just from damage, not a minus effect. Alright. Basically, like most of our games, we're trying to get our shields up and snowball to victory. Brutaclad's dead, though, so that's going to complicate things a little. Well, I mean, definitely going to block there. It does mean Ickershade's going to get bigger, but, you know, they could... I guess they'll ping something, but... I don't think that's a huge deal. Yeah. Okay, we're just gonna cast this now. I'm gonna hold on to this land again, just in case our opponent has something planned here. Okay. Well, if that is in fact how they're going to attack, how likely is it I draw planes in my next 3 cards? So yeah, Inga's definitely going to block. They can choose not to... Yeah, that's the problem. They can choose... Not... Well, they have to have one of my creatures die, and then Inga and this token are both going to die. So, if I chump... And I may as well just block with everything. 2/4... Oh, I guess not, because they would kill everything if I do that. So let's just try to do this. See what happens. Looks like they're going to mess it up, which has been kind of how things have gone. It's very bad, actually, since they did that. That is very bad. Oof. I mean, we have really been punished for our mana. Can't really complain too much since, you know. Like, obviously, if we could cast Invasion of New Phyrexia, we would stabilize, but trying to find 2 planes in our deck. This Judith has been a nightmare, which is, as soon as it got milled by their freaking fairy, it was like, uh-oh. That's not good. So I think we kind of have to, you know, block and hope we just draw the mana for Invasion of New Phyrexia. It's kind of what we're looking at here. Like, I have to draw it now. Okay. The bad news is I'm at 5 and Judith can ping me to death. So, you know, that's a problem. But let's cast Moment of Truth, see if we can see a planes. We do. Ooh, what? What just happened? Oh, I already... No. Yes? I already played a land? I don't know. I played horribly this draft. I deserve to lose. I must have already played a land. That's the only thing that makes any kind of sense, which is really dumb because I was like, I need a plains. So, ugh. Not a good draft in terms of how I played. Those last two games were both pretty bad. Sometimes you go 1 and 3. This deck was definitely capable of doing better, but I didn't play that well. I mean, our deck had problems. The mana issues were very real. You know, basically, if our opponents could kill Brutaclad quickly, we just couldn't win, is sort of how it panned out. But playing as poorly as I did was also a big problem.